Hi, everyone. My name is Sneha Yaramilli, and I work with our Staff Wellness Initiative here at CCS. And it's my pleasure today to introduce my colleague, Paya Fitzgerald. She's the CEO of Wow Factor. Paya Fitzgerald served in education for over 20 years in a variety of roles: high school English teacher, adjunct college instructor, and college administrator. While in education, she functioned part-time in the fitness industry as an assistant track coach, drill team coach, and a group fitness instructor. Today, Paya takes joy in helping others activate their wow factor by providing the power tools necessary to work on their wellness wish and win. The wellness team has had a long-standing partnership with Paya throughout the years to offer wow factor programming for staff here at CCS. And I will go ahead and turn it over to Paya. And just a quick reminder, at the end of this session, we'll drop a link in the chat for a survey for you to take. And the wellness team will be randomly selecting a lucky winner to receive a prize package from the wellness team for completing that survey. All right, Paya. Thank you so much, everyone.
All right, thank you, thank you. All right, everybody. It would have been so cool if this was actually a Monday, but it's a Tuesday. So welcome to Making Mondays Matter. Thank you for that introduction. I kind of forgot about that bio, so thank you for that. And I will tell you guys at first, this is a 30-minute session. If you have any questions, you can either unmute yourself and feel free to interrupt, or you can simply raise your hand, and I'm going to assume one of you guys will kind of be monitoring who has their, okay, and feel free to stop me at any time so that I can address questions. I don't want you to feel like you have to wait till the end to ask questions or make comments, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and get started here. Making Mondays Matter. So I like to start things off with a little humor. You may find this humorous, you may not. You can chuckle anyway. Laughter is good for the soul. Laughter is something that will make Monday matter for you. But here you go, especially for May in education. You guys probably can relate to this little bit of humor right here. Well, what I want to do, I want to start off with you guys kind of flooding the chat box for a second and sharing with me, why do people hate Mondays? What is it about Mondays that causes people to get caught up in the scary Sundays, as they call it? If you could kind of put your responses for me in the chat box. Why do we hate Mondays? Why do we get angst around Mondays? Go ahead and you could add some things in there to that chat. Back to the grind. The grind in particular. Had too much fun over the weekend. Weekends are fast, never get enough done. Knowing your weekend is over. The feeling of having no free time during the week. Okay. All right, good. The weekend goes too fast. Monday comes too fast. Okay. Very well, thank you. Okay, so we're going to take a look. I'm going to keep that in mind, and I'll bring it back up in context as we move along through this session. So by the time you're done with this lunch and learn today, you should be able to answer this question. How can you reframe your Monday experience so that it doesn't have all that angst around it, so that it can be something you look forward to? How about that? How about looking forward to Monday? So you should be able to answer this question by the end of the session as it relates to you. How can you reframe your Monday experience? All right. So a little bit more humor, but actually kind of real. I want to struggle my way through the day. Is that what you say? I just look forward to having a horrible Monday. I just look forward to struggling. No, you have not said that. No one ever says that. And yet, we tend to live our lives or make choices or go on autopilot, which puts us in a place where we are struggling throughout the day totally unnecessarily. So I just want to set the stage with that thought that perhaps it's about becoming more intentional, coming off autopilot and being intentional about not struggling through that day, not struggling into the Monday. So this session, we were looking at emotional intelligence competencies or social emotional competencies. This session is going to help develop more of your self-awareness, around emotions, develop more of your self-management, how you handle those emotions, and to kind of push you a little bit on responsible decision-making, the action you take behind those emotions that work or do not work in your favor. So that's what you should be able to do by the time we're done with our little lunch and learn today. All right, so just want to kind of give you a little bit of information. So dread, there are some people who actually dread Mondays. I'm not sure if that's any of you, but I just want you to know that when you intentionally dial into dread, you make the event worse than what it actually will be. I don't know if anyone can relate to that. Even if it's not Monday, when you start to dial into these negative thoughts, you're increasing this dread. And then it shuts you down from being able to see opportunities instead of looking at it from the way you are, which is dread. And it makes things worse. So I'm not sure if your thing is dread when it comes to Mondays, or if it's perhaps it's grief. Maybe it's grief, and there's all kinds of forms of grief. Grief can feel like loss, obviously, but not just loss of a person. Maybe there's this perpetual sense of loss that you haven't addressed yet. Maybe it's connected to work, which you have to go to every Monday. Maybe grief for you is this sense of longing. You have to go to work, but then there's something missing, okay? Something that's not addressed. You're yearning for something. Maybe it's uncertainty. You're not really sure, where is this going, or uncertainty about what Monday is going to bring. Grief, that is a real feeling. Or just simply feeling lost. You might be in a season of transition, not knowing what your next is supposed to look like. And this Monday going to work may remind you of where what is my purpose? It may remind you that you're not clear on that for this season. But guess what? Even if it's all of those things or one of those things, it's okay. It's okay to feel some kind of grief. But again, I'm going to give you some tools on how to manage that. All right, let's see here. So, because it's all a matter of perspective, all a matter of perspective. So did you guys know that there are certain emotions that signal your needs are being met? And then there are other emotions that signal there's a need not being met. Take a look at these emotions for a second. And then don't let me, take a look at these emotions. We have satisfied, curious, grateful, calm, loving, energetic at the top. And then look at the ones at the bottom. You have frustrated, fatigued. You have, I need my notes because I can't see the bottom there, but you see what they are at the very bottom. Okay, notice how the ones at the top are positive emotions. So when you're in that positive headspace, heart space, that is a sign that your needs are being met, that the need, whatever that one is first and foremost, is being met. But when you're experiencing something that's kind of, making you clench, bringing you some angst, it's a signal that something needs to be, there's something you need, there's something missing. And I would like to take this time to just invite you, when you're feeling that way, when you're not feeling whole, allow yourself, one, to just feel it, to experience it. You don't want to suppress your emotions, okay? There's a whole nother conversation about suppressing, the danger of suppressing your emotions. But sit with it for a second, but become curious. Become curious about it. And notice curiosity is one of the positive emotions. Become curious about it, and then see, what is it that you need to do? What's the next step? What do you need to do so that you can get that need addressed? Maybe it's just a matter of figuring out, well, what is missing? Because you might not even know. You just feel some kind of way. But I just want to invite you just to know, I want you to notice that about emotions, because when it comes to Mondays, if you're experiencing more of the negative, it's just perhaps a sign that there's a need not being met. It is up to you to figure out what that is. All right, so why do we hate Mondays? I'm not going to go into all of these in detail right now. And again, if you have questions at any time, feel free to stop me. But here we go. We have, when we just accept the status quo, and the status quo is not working in our favor, and the status quo is connected to our job or whatever it is that we are supposed to do on Mondays, that's when we start building that angst. When we don't address our habits of thought. We all have these thought habits, things that we think on a regular basis. You know, sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not so great, but we all have them, right? Sometimes they turn into a form of rumination, then when it's really not good for you. But we have these thought habits. But sometimes your thought habits, if you're always saying Monday or always thinking Monday is, oh, instead of Monday is, oh, I can't wait. That alone is a thought habit that's going to work against you. All right. Being out of alignment with yourself, disconnected with yourself. That, and especially if whatever it is you're doing on Monday is not in alignment with who you are or what you're supposed to be doing, yeah, you're not going to like Mondays. All right, let me give you a quick example. So when I did used to train people on Mondays, I used to have 2 clients at 5 and 6 in the morning, and I do not do mornings like that. I don't like to be in a critical thinking, thoughtful, reflective space that early. And it hit me. What? Reschedule these people. You don't have to take them on a Monday morning. And I took them on a Tuesday, and I promise you it made all the difference, because for me at that season, I needed to be able to ease into the week, and having that 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, which does not work with my circadian rhythm on Monday, that was brutal. And so it took me out of my space. It messed me up for the entire day, caused me to be out of alignment with myself, and making that shift made all the difference. So that's just a little simple thing. I also would invite you to consider, when you think about Monday, what are your anchor thoughts? Now, we know the purpose of an anchor is that object, right, on the side of a boat, to keep the boat from moving forward. Okay, it controls the movement of the boat, controls the movement of it. So what are your anchor thoughts? You know, before you go to work, whether it be Monday, Tuesday, whatever, what thoughts do you anchor to in order to get you through the day the way you need to, in a way that works favorably for you? Or are your thoughts such, your anchor thoughts, where they keep you trapped, you know, held back, all this angst around going to work or the day? What are your anchor thoughts? Are you anchored to any negative emotions around, you know, where you're just committed? You come into full agreement that Mondays will suck. I don't know. Have you anchored into a belief that you have to perhaps rely on others, rely on an environment that you really don't have any control over to get to be your source of strength or happiness? I don't know. Something for you to think about. Okay, so thought habits, being in alignment. So here we go. We got our first strategy, everyone. Our first strategy. Strategy number 1, speaking of thoughts, what kinds of thoughts do you practice? Do you practice on a regular basis satisfying thoughts? Or do you practice unsatisfying thoughts? Satisfying thoughts, they smooth you. They should feel like just real soothing to you, okay? Pinching, unsatisfying thoughts, they pinch you off. So if you just take a minute, I can't see you, but think of a satisfying thought. And as you think about the thought, so we can involve more than one of the senses, I want you to, you know, just kind of gently rub yourself so you can get that tactile experience, making that neural connection between that satisfying thought and it being soothing. So think of a satisfying thought. And then after that, I want you to think about an unsatisfying thought. And as you think about it, I want you to pinch yourself. Don't kill yourself, just pinch yourself a little bit, so you can get the idea of what we're talking about here. Okay? So, strategy, and I want you guys to not just do this for today, I want you to consider this strategy from here on out, whether it relates to Monday or any day. But I want you to get in the habit of daily writing down at the end of the day 2 satisfying thoughts that happened. So for today, today's Tuesday, if you could just kind of humor me for a second, pick one satisfying thought about Monday, about yesterday. Pick one satisfying thought, and then I want you to write in the chat box, and I want you to write why it happened. What's the satisfying thought and what's the why around it? Like, why is it satisfying? So if you guys could, again, flood my chat box, please, and thank you, with one satisfying thought about yesterday, which was Monday. And then what was the why? Why was it satisfying? Add to the chat box. Somebody add to the chat box. One satisfying thought. Yep, really productive, being on task. Yeah. You felt efficient. I was off. Yes, that's always satisfying. Yes, I made it here. Proud of being responsible. Absolutely. Very good. Felt accomplished, caught up on work, making things, marking things off on my list, and feeling seeing the gratification from it, feeling that gratification. Yes. Awesome. One thing for me yesterday, I didn't think I was going to be able to get out and do my stress release walk. I was able to get out after this whole litany of work to do yesterday. I was able to go out and listen to my book on tape and enjoy my Monday stress relief walk. So that's one, and it still satisfies me. Just to even think that I was able to do it. Yeah, I felt energized. Very good, very good. Thank you. So you should do this on a regular basis. I don't know how many of you journal. Journaling does not have to be writing 50 million paragraphs. You don't have to worry about spelling and grammar. It's your journal. No one's going to read it but you. You just need to understand what you're writing. Don't be like me. Sometimes I have to remember, because I don't have the neatest writing. I'm like, oh, what was that? So as long as you can understand and decipher what you're writing, it doesn't matter. But I encourage you, each day, write down one satisfying thing, because getting into this habit, you're going to be shifting the neural pathways in your brain that will ultimately work in your favor, and it will help you begin to see things differently because you're practicing new thoughts, okay? Strategy number two, set an intention. How many of you, by show of hands, set an intention for yourself each day? And you may not do it, it's okay, I'm just curious. Anybody set daily intentions for yourself? All right, so here it is. Intentions, very, 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 very important. Nothing deep, nothing big, but it's about make a commitment to accomplish something, create something, feel a certain way about something. And it's the heart behind it. It's not necessarily a to-do list. Like, yeah, your intention may be, well, yeah, I want to get the dishes done. But the intention I'm referring to has more of the emotional connection to it. So if your task for the day is to get the dishes done, maybe your intention is, I am going to enjoy working on my dishes, or when I work on my dishes, I'm going to allow myself to be grateful that I have a home to do dishes in. That's kind of what I mean by setting your intentions for the day. All right, so I want you to, like, it might also be, so like, for example, for today, for me personally, my intention for today was to move throughout the day in ease, peace, and joy, not focusing on the fact that I'm going to be going at it until 7 p.m. because that's just a reality thing. But because I have to go to, it's a longer day, I want to set the intention of how I choose to see and move through that space emotionally, mentally. And guess what? It's been working. Like, I'm in like a super groove zone. I'm just like, I'm just chill. Believe it or not, even though I'm a little loud, I'm chill. So that's another strategy. Set your intention and then think about, visualize for a quick second. You can do this while you're brushing your teeth, getting ready for the day. What would honoring this intention look like for you? What will it sound like? And remember, it's about things that you can control. You know, like Jackie can't have an intention for us to be nice to her. That's nothing that Jackie can control. However, Jackie can have an intention of, when I talk with my coworkers today, I'm going to listen with empathy. And I'm not saying you guys don't do that. I'm just using you guys as an example. So set your intention, get in the habit of setting your intention. And you guys can do that right now. What, if you haven't done it, yes, I get to, not I have to. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. Set an intention for today and think about what it would look like to honor it, because the day is only like 12:21. You still can set it. You can shift your intention throughout the day. In fact, it is even recommended that you set this daily intention, but that as you move throughout the day, maybe there's a new intention for each segment or each component of today. Maybe there's this big meeting coming up at 3 o'clock. You can set an intention around that meeting. Okay. I should have said, well, I don't really care for meetings. So I have to set intentions all the time so that they become productive mentally and emotionally for me. All right. And then at the end of the day, back to the journal. Key thing, because this is about learning more about yourself, becoming more self-aware, becoming more aware of how you manage and regulate your emotions. But at the end of the day, to help you do this, be sure to reflect. Ideally, you want to do this in your journal. If not, just do it while you're in the shower or whatever, but take a moment and ask yourself, how did you honor your intention? What was it like to honor your intention? This is not about beating yourself up if you didn't. That's not what this is about. It's not about being critical or what got in the way if you didn't. You know, it's about just reflecting on what was it like to honor it. And then, you know, taking that over into the next day. What did you notice? All right, we're almost to strategy 3. Strategy 3, I think, is perhaps the easiest, maybe, the one where you can have the most fun. But shoot, plan something for Mondays that makes you happy. You know, we always do all this stuff where we designate it to Friday and Saturday. See, this is how you bring the weekend into Monday. I noticed many of you said Mondays give you angst because the weekend doesn't have to be over because it's Monday. Just because somebody categorized Friday, Saturday, and Sunday as the weekend, you can make Monday your weekend. You know, some people do, well, I'm going to get pizza on Fridays. Get pizza on Fridays. You know, if there's a show you like to watch, maybe you watch that show on Mondays. Maybe you can't watch all of it because you got to get up early. But whatever it is, find something that you enjoy doing, even if it's simple, and schedule it for Monday so that you can have something you look forward to. Maybe there's something that you could, a little ritual you can create for yourself at work where you only do it on Mondays. I don't know, but the key thing is be intentional about it. Be intentional about it. Because see, once you start reframing what Monday has to look like for you, once you start reframing that, it's going to make a world of difference. That's why I said I like to ease into my Monday. And I do things that help me feel like I'm easing into my Monday. All right. You know, maybe this is the day you light a certain candle that you enjoy smelling. You only know what makes your heart leap. Okay. Schedule that for Mondays. Okay. Let's see here. I gotta just make sure I tell you this. Yes, block it out on your schedule so no one, yes, I love that, Mackenzie. Thank you. Worry is a choice, it's not an emotion. It's a choice. However, worry is something that will, done over time, can lead to stress and then ultimately burnout or overwhelm and then burnout. And I just want to make sure if you're worrying about Mondays, you want to just kind of be intentional about not doing that. What is it that you're so caught up on, and address it? Don't worry about it. Just simply address it. I have, I don't know how many of you have the Brene Brown book, Atlas of the Heart, just came out back in December. I love this book. It's a fun book, easy book to access. You don't have to read it cover to cover. She talks a lot about from her most recent, it's like about 12 years of research on the various kinds of emotions that are out there. And one of the things that she says is critical, and I love it. She says, we have to get into the habit of correctly identifying what we're feeling so that we can address it accordingly. Earlier, back in the beginning, I said grief. If you're experiencing, or if you're angry, you're calling this emotion you're feeling is anger, but its real name is grief, you're going to be doing things counter to addressing the grief you're experiencing. You're going to respond as if you're angry and probably make things worse, when in fact it's really grief. So I really highly recommend this book, Atlas of the Heart by Brene Brown. And she even has an HBO special too, so you can watch. She takes this book and like kind of has this like masterclass on HBO dealing with the emotions. So I just want to make sure you guys are. So what is the solution to all of this so that we can make Mondays matter? I'm coming, guys. Here it is. Expecting Monday to be a great day. Anchoring your thoughts in things that serve you well. And planning something special to enjoy every Monday and holding to it. So anchoring your thoughts, setting your intentions, expecting your day to be great, expecting the day to be, go well, work in your favor, and planning something to enjoy. All right, so here we go. Any questions? And I have a survey as well, but since you're doing one for them, you don't have to do it for us. But if you can do both, grab that link and then give it to us later. We would appreciate it. And of course, we would share it with you guys too once we compile it. So yeah, I make Mondays matter, folks.